Hi there, I am Stacey Phillips, and I am so excited to kick off season 1 of my podcast, Stacey Phillips and Friends, or as we like to say, keeping it real with non-housewives. No slight to real housewives. We really love you. Everybody needs a housewife in their life. Each week, we will step into my wardrobe, literally one of my closets, where one of my nearest and dearest friends and confidants will fill this chair next to me as my co-host to chat a little bit about life and a lot about women empowering women. Together, we will have a gap session with just us gal pals, a deep dive for the dish, a convo among co-eds, and then our big feature presentation, the special guest interview, or what I call the SGI. But first, move over, Andy Cohen, with your mazel of the day, because at Stacey Phillips and Friends, we will bump it up a notch or 3 as we Kiitz, Kvetch, and Kvell, the best 5 minutes of commenting, complaining, and crowing. And because I am a divorce attorney, my producer, George, will drop in to spend a few minutes of each show talking about a high-profile relationship in the news. So welcome to Stacey Phillips and Friends. Let's keep it real. Hi again, I'm Stacey, and welcome to Stacey Phillips and Friends, or as we like to say, keeping it real with non-housewives. Not a dig to housewives. My co-host today is my very, very dear friend and bestie, Dr. Taryn Rose.
Hi, everyone. And Stacey, can I let you know, you couldn't pay me enough to be a stay-at-home mom only. I tried it after I sold my first company, and I basically got kicked out of the Girl Scouts.
Yeah. I get that.
It's such a hard job.
Besties.
Yeah, it's such a hard job. And kudos to everyone out there who is doing it. And kudos to all the women who are doing it both. You know, like I think as women, we just need to not judge others. Like everyone should just choose their path, and we should be happy for each other.
Find their niche.
Yeah, and lift each other up.
So Taryn is an orthopedic surgeon by training, trained with some of the best doctors. I know that because I've gone to some of the doctors she's trained with. But she decided that women who are in the workforce should have luxury shoes that are beautiful, that don't kill your feet. So she leveraged her knowledge of the human body into creating not 1, but 2 lines of shoes. And let me show you one that I'm wearing today. Love this booty. Bespoke, made for me. I have so many of them. I love them.
Yeah, our episodes today are just going to be all about the new Enrico Queenie line.
So with a huge following from professional women, many of them doctors and adored by Oprah, Taryn has brand recognition, is credited with originating the luxury comfort footwear market. So it's Taryn Rose and it's Enrico Queenie. So welcome to my closet, although you've been in my closet before.
I've been there when you were shopping for the things inside your closet. That's how we actually met.
We met in the Neiman Marcus dressing room.
Yeah.
No joke. And we're dating ourselves. We used to Taryn would put her iPod on, and my daughter and I and Taryn and Penny at Neiman's would dance to the music in the dressing room.
Exactly. People have country clubs. I don't golf. I just shop.
That's fun for us, and we earn our own keep, so we can do that. What would be one of your fashion choices today, Ms. McQueen girl?
I'm very simple because I don't like to have to think about what I'm wearing. So once I decide on a certain look that I like, I buy it in multiple colors. So I have this exact same jacket in 3 different colors.
I have it in orange.
I have it in light pink, as well as this red and orange as well. So it's just easier for me. So if I want to look feminine but edgy, I pull this kind of look on. If, for example, I'm flying on the red eye tonight to get to DC for some meetings, I'm going to put on a pantsuit from McQueen and basically just vary it up with color. So I have a uniform per se, but it's not the exact same look like Steve Jobs.
All over there are my McQueen pantsuits.
Mm-hmm.
You and I have that peplum black leather McQueen.
I have it in cream now also.
Oh, my God. I should pull out my orange one.
But you have a to die for Dior collection.
Yes, I do.
You know, so because you're petite, I'm bigger, so I find that Dior is hard for me to find my sizes. So, you know, hint, Dior.
And now that she's not doing boho, it really works for me. And Acris, that's what I'm wearing now. Acris really works for me.
Yeah.
But I literally built my outfit today around my silver Enrico Queenie booties.
Those are one of a kind.
Yes, you made them for me.
Yes. Yes.
Bespoke.
Yes.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
We do all custom made shoes. And the most important part is they're custom fitted. So we measure your feet with our app, and then we make the shoes according to what your measurements require. And we've found many women who have 2 different size feet, or they're a lot wider and then they are their length, or they have bunions, for example, that they want to adjust because they don't want to have surgery just yet. So we find that that's super helpful to women who need to look sharp and still be comfortable.
The best. Absolutely the best. So it's time for Kiitz, Kvetch, and Kvell. So let me explain. Kiitz is to chatter, to gossip. I don't like gossip. Kvetch is to complain, as one of my besties said. Kvetch, kvetch, kvetch. And Kvell, as my father would say, is to bust your buttons. So you have a choice today. We don't have to go through all 3. Pick 2 and go for it.
Okay, so my youngest son is going to college this year, and all of my postpartum weight is back on because of menopause. And I'm just like so upset that I was at my peak, I think, between 42 and 45. As you know, I was dating younger men. I was
yes, I know.
the hottest shape of my
their 2
life.
age together wasn't equal to 1. The Whitman sampler, as you said, you wanted to test every single one. I live vicariously through you. Yes, yes, yes.
So now, I'm like, what is going on with my body? And my kvetch is that I went to my OB-GYN, who's wonderful. She delivered 3 of my babies, all at Cedars-Sinai. But she is from the generation where they interpreted the study of all those women in the wrong way. So she says, oh, you don't need anything. And luckily, one of my shoe clients is a younger OB-GYN who says, wait a minute, you don't need to suffer. You can go on hormonal replacement therapy. And that literally changed my life because my brain fog went away. My weight is still, I haven't gained anymore, and I'm hopeful that I'll keep losing. That's what I tell my McQueen salesperson. I'm going to lose weight. That's been like my 2-year mantra, right? But it actually has plateaued the weight gain. My joints don't hurt as much, and it's super important for me to know that a recent study came out that says that it's protective for dementia and Alzheimer.
Wow.
Yeah, because one of my biggest fears is that my brain's going to go. And I panicked every time when I was going through the brain fog where I couldn't remember, someone's name. It was just like
that
panic.
happens.
Yeah, you're like, what's that word? It's kind of like this, and then you use a replacement word, right? So that's much better because it's really debilitating. At one point, I just said to myself, if this is how it's going to be, I don't know if I want to live like this, right? So it was just a lifesaver. I'm so happy. And I encourage every woman to speak to your doctor. If your doctor doesn't know enough about the topic, there are more and more doctors coming on board who do. They have to be passionate about menopausal care.
And it's different for each person. I remember listening to a lecture many years ago about hormonal replacement therapy. And I called my doctor and he said, how's your skin? Fine. How's your hair? Fine. Are you sleeping? Fine. Ain't broke, don't fix it. And so for me, I didn't need to go on anything, but I had been forewarned by 2 of my older cousins who really were debilitated, including psychologically.
Yes. I've talked 2 of my girlfriends out of divorces because I noticed they were going into menopause. I said, you're having mood changes right now. I think we should get that stabilized before you make your final decision. And they ended up not divorcing. Of course, I was also straight up going, come on, you haven't worked for 20 years. Your lifestyle is going to change. That house in Beverly Hills may not be realistic if you divorce. So let's really look at everything holistically and make the decision. Not that I want to do your job, but
there's enough to go around. There's enough to go around. It's time for our relationship roundup. It's not every day you get a divorce attorney and a fashion entrepreneur who's a doctor in the room together. So Taryn, whose relationship would you like to talk about this week?
Well, I hear Harry Styles and what's his girlfriend's name? Taylor Russell. Yeah. They're breaking up. Now, I love Harry Styles style, so that's why I'm even talking about it. I don't know that much about Taylor. Do you know?
I just know that she's really gorgeous. I think she might be an actress or a model. I'm not sure exactly what she does, but her boyfriend was Harry Styles, so I mean that's like an accomplishment. They were a really cute couple. I'm sad that they broke up. I heard that they were working on things or maybe just taking a break.
Maybe to figure out if it's the one.
Yeah.
That often happens. People break up and then they realize, like, oh my God, and they get back together, get married. Sorry,
like
Harry, I'm not rushing you.
Prince William and Kate Middleton, they had a period where he broke up with her and she, did her own thing and then he
Good
came
for
running
her.
back. Yeah.
Love her.
I heard Harry Styles likes older women.
Oh, really? How old? Menopausal old or just old?
Like I've heard through the grapevine, like in their 50s.
Oh, well, I fit that description. And I happen to like younger men.
Yes, you do. Well, and my boyfriend is younger, but
Yeah.
he jokes that he's older because he has so many grandchildren. I'm about to have a grandson.
Oh, congratulations. Wow. I didn't know that.
Well,
Congrats.
Literally, I was just released from my gag order on Saturday.
Oh,
So you're hearing it hot off the press. So excited. But I have to figure out a name that doesn't call me grandma. I'm sorry, I'm not old enough for that.
I know. Glamma.
That guy could do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not a bad
Did you say
one.
Glamma?
Yeah. She's a
Glamma.
glamma.
I've
She's
heard that one. I
Yeah.
heard that yesterday. I was watching MILF Manor on HBO, and MILF Manor 2, and one of them is a grandma, and she was like, "I prefer to be called Glamma."
Okay.
That's one of my comments.
Okay. That's a good idea. I was
Yeah.
thinking of the Hungarian name for grandma, which I'm not going to pronounce correctly because I am part Hungarian, but I like Glamma.
Glamma.
Let me think about that. Thank you.
Well, my kids are younger or, they're young adults. And I told them, do not have any children right now because I am not ready to be
It's all
a
about you,
grandma
baby.
or, yeah.
What's the youngest you would be?
Half my age is my record so far, but
Okay.
ideally, I think like 15 years, 10 to 15 years younger seems to work well because half my age is quite young.
It was.
But yeah, but it was, what, the 15-year-old, 10 to 15 range is great because they didn't feel pressure
Yeah.
because I wasn't into, like thinking, oh, this is going to be a long-term thing. But we enjoyed each other's company because they said, we like being with you because you talk about important things versus, the women in their age group. So it was nice.
It's
And
going to be
by the way,
interesting now.
I'm going to move to Paris to retire because they like older women there.
You dated a
Yeah.
Frenchie.
Yes, I did.
But it's going to be interesting this go round to see what you think of younger men that young. I think this go round you're going to want it a little older. That's my prediction.
Probably. Yeah. Well, Enrico was younger.
Okay, that's the sound that it's time for our special guest interview. It's time for my favorite part of the show, the SGI. And this week, Taryn and I are very excited to spend some time with our friend and superstar actress, singer, and designer, Melora Hardin. I am so excited to have Melora Hardin with us today. Melora is an Emmy-nominated star of stage, TV, film, and she is also an artist, designer, and entrepreneur. The list goes on. Known for her star turns as Jan from The Office and Trudy from Monk, Tammy from Transparent, which I loved, but I have such a fan crush on her character from The Bold Type. And I couldn't figure out what was Melora and what was the character. I just fell in love with it all. In addition, Melora is one of the hardest working women in Hollywood, with her career starting as a child actress, though recently starring in a one-woman tour de force film, Golden Vanity, which I was privy to be at the premiere at the Burbank International Film Festival. She was amazing. And she's a mom and a wife. I mean, she just does everything amazingly, including entertain. She's just I don't know. I don't have enough gush words to talk about her. In addition to that, she turned her artistic talents into an art and design business, designing a line of high fashion wallpaper. I know that sounds weird, but it's not. She calls Storyboards by Melora, and I tell you, her designs are exquisite. So, Triple Threat does not adequately describe our guest today. Singer, dancer, actress, director, artist, mom, wife, designer, everything just goes on. So welcome to my closet, literally, Melora. Your bio leaves me breathless. You can tell I am breathless. So let's dig into how you were able to do it all and with such grace and aplomb. I could have gone on for lengths and lengths of our interview about you, but did I miss any highlights? Is there anything you want to focus on?
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. No, I mean, I've done a lot of all those things you said and other things too. And it's all wonderful. And thank you that's very sweet of you to highlight it. So thank you.
And you know Taryn. You met Taryn through me.
I do.
A few years
Yes,
ago.
and that's right. And Taryn gave me the most amazing, have 3 pairs of your incredible shoes. And she's not joking when she tells you that if you wear her high heels, which is part of my job, your feet will feel better at the end of the night. I can't even tell you. I actually stood in her spiked heels at the Burbank International Film Festival where we premiered Golden Vanity all night long. And they were this high and my feet were not killing me at the end of the night. I mean, they felt supported and so good. So I just want to thank you, Taryn. I love them so much and they're just amazing.
Oh, I'm so thrilled to hear that. We'll have to get pictures for our social. I can't wait to see them.
For sure. We have quite a few of them. Yes.
So let's talk a bit about that film with Golden Vanity. I don't know how you handled the entire movie all by yourself, playing the type of, disturbed character that you were and managed to just do it all. So tell us about how that all came about.
Yeah, I mean, it was 2 young filmmakers that it was their first time making a movie, and they wrote the part for me based on things they'd seen me do before and just crossed their fingers and hoped that they could get it to me, which is really the fun part, I think, of the story, which is that they could have never known that I've been working on and have taken, I think, 3 or 4 one-person show writing classes over the years. And so my agent knew that I was interested in doing a one-person show and that I'd been sort of thinking about that for years and years and years. And so they did get it to him through their casting director who had just worked with my husband, cast my husband in a movie and had said to my husband, could we get this to Melora's agent? And then got that to my agent. And then my agent read it and sent it to me and said, I think this might be worth a read because, I know you're interested in doing a one-person show. So I read it and thought it was wonderful and set up a meeting with them and thought they were wonderful. And they were, you have, in order to do something like that, it really is quite an undertaking. You have to really believe that they have a vision for the piece and that they are super excited. They were super excited to have me and I was their first choice and they wrote it for me, but they couldn't be so gaga-eyed that they couldn't work with me. You know what I mean? I really needed people that really had a vision and they really are artists and they did. And so it was actually a wonderful working experience. I came on as the star of it, obviously, but also a producer and pulled in some of my creative contacts as well. We made a really beautiful movie, I think.
You did make a really beautiful movie and disturbing movie. But that's what makes it you.
Tragic, funny.
When can we see this?
Really
I was not at the film festival. So when do you think we can all see?
Well, I'm
movie?
working to sell it this year. That's my intention. In fact, after this, I have a meeting with somebody about that very thing. So hoping to get some good advice from my next Zoom call about where we might take this. I've been trying to find the right home for it. It's going to find a home somewhere. It's just, we just haven't, this part of it isn't my skill set. So I'm learning. This is new for me.
So one of the things that I find incredible about you in a good way is that all of your characters that you play are so vastly different. And interesting that those two young artists saw a thread that they could pull together with that character. How do
Yeah.
you approach each of your characters so fresh and distinctively each time?
I mean, I think as an actor who's been doing this as long as I have, I really understand the craft. And so for me, I just do all the things that we do, which is, hooking into something about the character that you can, kind of get a hold of. And I like to think of it as sort of taking a piece of yourself and kind of knowing like that's sort of, because I am my toolbox for what I do as an actor. So I'm kind of taking a little piece of myself and I'm kind of just blowing it up into my whole self. And that is sort of how the character becomes me and I become the character.
See, that's why I see you as the character in the bull type. I
Yeah.
guess, again, can't distinguish between you and the character. It's really pretty amazing.
Well, obviously there are pieces of me in all my characters because it is me and I am them. Of course, I'm me acting them, but I have to create their reality and I have to get inside their truth and the truth of their world. But part of the way that I do that, there's many ways that I do that, but part of the way that I do that is I take a piece of something about my experience in my life that actually makes me hook into the heart of the character, the guts of the character. And that's what I kind of try to use as my base to kind of grow the whole character.
How have you done that with storyboards? I mean, tell us how that came about.
Yeah. So yeah, my new, I guess it's my art. Really, I've been making a documentary for the last 7 years and it's called Hunter's Thunder. And it's really about, real life serendipity and two women coming together in a very serendipitous way. And holding one another up and creating a healing space for within this friendship that we created. And we partnered with Morgan Freeman's company, and we have received funding from Artemis Foundation and also the Clendenings. And so we have had people that have supported us financially to go forward. And as we have done this, I started making these little collages, little doodles that I thought were just little meaningless doodles. And then Hunter would call me and say, "Oh my God, I woke up with a nightmare and I crawled inside used my childlike imagination to go inside your collage where I felt like I could rest and I could feel joy and I could feel I had vision, or, I could get out of the nightmare into this beautiful space." And it was sort of like, for me, very, very profound, because I thought I was just making meaningless little doodles that I could just throw away. And she sort of says, "No, actually, they're healing me." And she kind of infused them with all this meaning. And then everybody around me kept saying, "I just keep seeing them really big. Like, I just want them really big." And I want, because some of the first one I made was this one right here. And it's super, super tiny. It's literally that big. You can see how big that is. It's super little. And what I did was I took a picture of it with my phone, and she would zoom in on all the little details because there's a ton of details in here. And then she would, and then everybody, including my best friend who I've been friends with since I was 18, who's kind of a little bit psychic, she sort of says to me, "I don't know, I just see it like a set piece behind you, or when you're singing, or a curtain, or I don't know, it just needs to be big." And then everyone I met was like, "Oh, I just want them big. I just want them big." And so being a good actor, the good actor that I am, I listen very well. That's one of the things that makes a great actor, is someone that can really listen. So when people keep saying the same thing to you, it's like you kind of got to hear and react to it and respond to it, right? And so I responded by then collaborating with a wallpaper company, and we've made my collages into kind of mural-like wallpaper, which I'm calling Storyboards by Melora Hardin. And I also now have big pieces of art in a beautiful gallery in Montreal called Galerie Le Royer. where they also were like, we just want it big. So I have like 6 foot by 3 foot pieces and 5 foot by 4 foot pieces. And I sold a piece at my first gallery show to a woman there in Montreal. It's all been really exciting and really kind of organically happening, like it's wonderful.
Well, in addition to all of your professional success, your family is quite a success. I watched how you light up when your husband's around, when your parents are around you, your daughters, you take incredible pride with them as well. You should. As I'm sure you've been asked this 1,000 times. I know I've been asked this. How do you do it all?
I mean, I think that my thing that I ask, that I tell, like, I have a lot of young couples. My husband and I have been married 27 years to, this tomorrow. Happy
anniversary.
Thank you. And I always tell young couples, I say, start working on your relationship when it's good. Don't wait until it falls apart. It's like we don't take our car in when it's flat on the freeway because we've lost the tires and all the oils come out. We take it in for regular tune-ups. We take our teeth in for regular tune-ups. And we take our skin, wash our face every night and put cream on our face. And we take care, we eat, it's like we exercise, we do these things. And yet I don't know why people don't think that relationships need that kind of care too. We need to take them in, we need to tune them up, and we need to do that when they're healthy and young. I just read a whole thing about the superagers, which are people that have no dementia. Like they can actually have memories that are as good as people they're in their 80s and as good as people in their 50s, or 40s. And the way that they say they do that is that if you're somebody that there's no like magic bullet, obviously, but one of the things they say really helps that is if you're someone in your 40s and 50s who is actually active and you do take care of eating right and having an exercise routine. These are things that even if when you're 80, you're just walking around the block and you're not really doing that kind of stuff, it pays off. And so I think the same thing with relationship, the same thing with family. Like I've taken a real, it's really important to me that we communicate. And there's sometimes it's hard to communicate when you're hurting or someone else is hurting or, so I think that's the key for me is to really get someone that you trust that can give you a set of tools that you can go to, that you both align with and believe in, and you're both willing to take the coaching from the person who basically, I'm lucky because I'm an actor, so I take direction really well. So I found somebody that, gives me direction and I take it. And my husband takes direction really well. And our kids take direction really well. And we try to communicate and be kind and be respectful and say sorry, say sorry to as a parent, sometimes there've been moments when I haven't really done something the way I would have done it. I wouldn't have done it that way if I had it to do over again. And I would say to my kids, even when they were little girls, little tiny, 10-year-old girls, I'd say, I'm sorry. I didn't handle that really well. And I'm really sorry. And I'd like to let's talk about what I could have done better because, you didn't do that. What you did wasn't great, but let's talk about what I could have done better as your mother, because that's my job. I'm the adult, not them. I'm supposed to be the one, right? So I try to show by example as much as I can and be in communication as much as I can and take direction. Get help.
I've been divorced twice, so I think I need to take my car in more often.
Me too. I think I got it right this time.
Yeah. I'm keeping your
take
industry
your car in.
alive.
As soon as you meet someone that you think is worth, some extra effort because they're cool and you like them and you really like each other, then start working on it right then. When you're all tittery and you have butterflies, start working on it right away.
I know I'm doing it differently this time. I'm actually expressing what I feel rather than stuffing it, and it's different.
Oh, amazing. You're in a relationship, Stacey?
Yes. I can't wait for you to meet him. So you've given great advice for family and relationships. What advice do you have for others in pursuit of their passion, since calling you a Renaissance woman would be an understatement?
Well, Well, I mean, I feel like, I do feel that there are cues that are always floating in the ether, and I think that you need to pay attention to those. I think that when you're constantly getting doors slammed in your face, don't waste your time, because I feel like, every no just means that around the corner there's a yes. But I do believe that you shouldn't bang your head against doors that constantly close. I do see sometimes people, they're like, they have their human will that this is what I'm going to do, like an idea of what they're going to do, instead of sort of paying attention and being sensitive to where the world is making openings, because there are going to be openings, and I think that, like, pay attention to where there's openings. And when there are openings, walk through with real gusto and really try to follow those breadcrumbs, because I do think that there are breadcrumbs that are being, and I also think the other thing I think is really powerful is, we don't speak out loud. A friend of mine does work with paraplegics and neuroplasticity, which is, the brain speaking to the body. And a lot of people don't understand that our brain is connected to our body through our spinal cord. So we are not just a head walking around and a body walking around. We are connected. And it's very important that your brain actually hears your own voice as a command. So I don't hear your voice as a command when you tell me I'm great. I only hear my voice as a command when I say, you know what, I think I'm pretty great at that. That's my my brain goes, oh, okay. So what I'm saying is, I don't think you want to be like just giving yourself, just what I'm saying, like hollow, compliments. But what I am saying is, if you are trying to go towards something, speak about it out loud. And the other thing is that we tend to do is we tend to hear our voices speaking about the things we don't like about ourselves and our lives out loud, much more than we hear our
True.
own voices speaking about what we do like about our lives and ourselves out loud. So I would encourage people to, even if it means sitting at a red light in your car and speaking to yourself out loud and saying, what's really great is the way that went. And I'm really liking that person that I met. And, they seem to be really interested in my art. And so I'm going to really make sure that I reach out to them and I try to, enroll them in this. And I'm going to see if I can, and sort of like, I think I handled that really well, or whatever, like those are really important things too.
So own it and damper those
Speak about
negative voices in your head.
And say it out
Yeah,
loud.
well, and speak out loud about it. Speak out loud about the positive things too, because we have to talk about the things that aren't working and the negative things for sure. That's important, but I think it's also really important to speak out loud about the things you desire and
So if you see
where
me
you've
driving
succeeded.
down the road talking to myself,
You're
you'll
not
know
crazy.
I'm not crazy.
Yeah, but
I'm
today everybody's on Bluetooth, right?
Yeah,
So no one will think
exactly.
you're crazy now. Everybody looks crazy on the road now.
Just don't act crazy on the road. So here's a
Right,
question
good to
I've been asking all of our guests, which is, if you were to do your career over,
Mhm.
what would you do differently? Would you pick a different career?
I don't think I would pick a different career. Um, but
You mean you don't want to be a surgeon?
no, I don't think so. I think I'm pretty happy with my trajectory, to be honest. But I would try to get out of my way a little faster, a little younger. I think I would have tried to get out of my own way a little more.
I think that's also generational.
Maybe.
I think our generation didn't think in those terms. I think we've taught our kids better than that. At least I like to think we have.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I hope so.
now you have a divorce attorney and a fashion footwear designer, orthopedic surgeon by training in the same room. Is there anything you want to
Yes.
ask us? What a strange combo for besties.
Well, I mean, I think I'm very interested, Taryn, in your the moment for you, because I don't think, like, I'm not stopping acting. I'm just expanding into this, the lifestyle brand, the wallpaper, the art, however, wherever this is going to go, it probably has a performative element to it somewhere down the line. But I wonder for you, you were an orthopedic surgeon and you got this wonderful idea, but what was the, if you can think back to, like, what was the actual real choice or shift or decision or something or conversation that you had that really opened up this whole other expansion of your contribution, in the world of feet?
Well, for sure, the moment that I was able to accept the possibility of failure, because you have to remember, throughout my life, I really had not failed, and that's how I got to be a surgeon, right? You're not really allowed to fail on your path, otherwise, out you go. So that was the most debilitating terror for me was, if I go do this, I could fail. But I decided that I feared regret a lot more than failure. So,
And that's our foundation together. I
Yeah.
have the same philosophy.
yeah, so you can get over failure, because I thought to myself, what would happen? I'd have to admit that my parents were right. I'd go do a hand fellowship. I didn't have a bad plan B, but there was no way to cure any regret, because I couldn't look back when I'm 80 and still walking around and sharp that, I wish I had done that, right? There's just no buying back that time. So I advise all entrepreneurs who are thinking about taking that step is when you get to that moment of being able to accept that you could possibly fail, but you would have so much more regret if you didn't do it.
When I had my own law firm, I used to say to my partners and associates when they would look at me, the things that I was doing, and my response was, I can accept failure. I don't like it. I can accept it. But I cannot live with the notion that I didn't take the risk and risk failing, and I'm just stagnant. Interestingly, I cannot imagine Taryn actually being a surgeon. She'd be amazing, but she is an entrepreneur. That is her spirit.
Right.
And she's
True.
always thinking of the next thing to come up with. So God bless you for taking that risk. And look what success you've had. And she's coming up with another one now. Just stay tuned.
Yeah.
Pretty
Ooh,
incredible.
Can't
Yeah.
wait. Wow.
So you have blessed us with your time. I am so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you
You're so
for
welcome. Thank you for
Melora
having
Hardin and my co-host Taryn Rose. Thank you, thank you, thank you, both of you.
Thank you, Stacy. Nice to see you both.
And a very special thank you to all of you for spending some of your precious time with us at Stacy Phillips and Friends. You can watch us on my YouTube channel at Stacy Phillips or download the show wherever you listen to your podcasts. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Stacy D. Phillips Esquire. You'll then see Melora and Taryn, or connect on LinkedIn. See you again soon, and remember, love will always be in fashion.